G'day everybody, welcome to Sky Racing's preview of a massive Group 1 day coming up this Saturday from Randwick. It is, of course, day one of the championships. 4 great Group 1s on the program, and the first of them is the Group 1 English sires for the 2-year-olds. I'm Lewis Willoughby. The man who's going to find you the winner of the race is Brad Gray. Brad, such an interesting race this year. Of course, a lot of them getting to the distance for the first time.
Yeah, hello to you, Louis, and everybody else watching on from home. One of the interesting things when assessing the sires this year is we go from a dry Rose Hill over 1,200 metres to a wet track Randwick 1,400 metres. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a few little form turnarounds. And on the topic of wet tracks, eyes on the skies for the past couple of days, and it looks like it has arrived. So if you're doing your form for Saturday, look for your wet trackers.
Oh, this is going to be a really hard one to figure out then, because of course so many of them are lightly raced and may have never seen a heavy track in the past. So you've got to dive, I guess, into the breeding to see which way it'll go. Here's a look at the field, and it is headlined by the horse who I guess most expected to win the Golden Slipper in Storm Boy.
Yeah, he had a few things against him, didn't he? So he was towards the inside there in the Golden Slipper. We know he's a big horse, we know he's a powerful horse, and he wasn't given the chance to really wind up at a critical point in the race. So as far as the makeup goes, I don't think we've lost a lot, and even Lady of Camelot, not a lot of people are talking about her, which is amazing in itself, given she was the Golden Slipper winner.
100%, and a few big jockeys make their way to town as well. Zach Purton takes the ride on Duvana, and Jamie Carr up from Victoria as well to take a ride in the race.
Yeah, she was flying on Wednesday, just getting her eye in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, a few key replays to take a look at as we try and find you the winner. And we'll start with the most obvious form lead-in. I guess history will tell you that the Golden Slipper becomes the favoured form line for the English sires.
Yeah, so we're not telling you anything you probably don't know already as far as it being the key form reference 2 weeks earlier, 1,200 metres, and your logical progression. So a few different places to look here, but I want to draw your attention to Prost. Now, I think he is the one that the market has forgotten. Now, a lot of the wash-up out of this race was the fact that, Traffic Warden was great, Manal was great, they're the two horses screaming for 1,400 metres, but as you can see in the run there, he has no luck whatsoever.
Coleman wide out with Lady of Camelot. It's Coleman, Lady of Camelot. Coleman ahead in front to Lady of Camelot. Coleman, Lady of Camelot. The lady dives and Lady of Camelot got up. Lady of Camelot, a spectacular win in the Golden Slipper, beat Coleman, and third Storm Boy in front of Traffic Warden.
So you're pretty spot on there, Brad. While a lot of eyes were on the first 2 or 3 across the line in a Golden Slipper, the hard watch was out the back. Prost basically untested the last half furlong of the race.
Yeah, I think he could be the forgotten runner here. So a lot of eyes, as you say, towards the inside who had some clear galloping room. He wasn't afforded that opportunity. And looking at his profile, I think wet track's fine. And I think if it turns into a real test, he's a type of horse that you want in your corner as far as a dogfight goes. So we know that Gai Wardhouse and Adrian Bott have taken all before them over the carnival. Their 2-year-olds are absolutely jumping out of the ground, and I certainly wouldn't think that he can't run a race there at a price. So you can see that stat there. 12 of the past 20 winners of this race, the sires, have come via the Golden Slipper. So I'm not thinking that'll change this year.
Yeah, certainly is the form line to follow. But there's 8 that haven't. And maybe horse racing's a funny game. A lot can happen on the day. Let's take a look at another of the key lead-ins, and it is the Pago Stakes. A few come through this run leading into the sires on the weekend, most notably a Node, who beat Coleman, who then ran second in that Group 1 Golden Slipper.
So it's a fair tie-in, isn't it? So we'll have a look at a Node again because he is on the quick backup. He also ran well in the Bally's subsequently. But as you say, this is a pretty strong form reference. Dublin Down wins the race, but that is Coleman who screams right down the outside to frank this form line.
Johnny the Kid, King of Rousseau's got it all to do. Inside the 300 metres, Dublin down the leader. Going well from a Node. Gatsby's grinding away in third. He needs to left. It's Dublin down in front of the 150. A length and a Node sticking to the task. But Dublin down going great guns. Dublin down is going to gate crush the Golden Slipper. Dublin down held off a Node, and Coleman got up to run third. Gatsby.
One of the more impressive parts of that replay is how strong a Node is through the line. Do you think 1,400 metres poses a challenge on Saturday?
No issue whatsoever. No. So he'll go straight to the front where he's drawn, and he's going to prove hard to chase down on the quick backup. The other runner we didn't touch on through that replay was Duvana. Now, I concede he was disappointing there. However, he's been very quickly forgotten about. Zach Purton rides, Chris Waller holds him in high regard, and all through, pretty much the story with him is wait for 1,400 metres, wait for 1,600 metres. He gets that on Saturday. So if there's an absolute bolter, I think it's him, Duvana.
Okay, what about the value, which you just did mention, and a node comes through that on the 7-day backup? Is that a little concern perhaps for 2-year-olds?
No, I think it's a tick. Yep. Quick backup on a wet track is typically a big positive. So keep that in mind when you're assessing these horses that are on the quick turnaround. There he is out in front. He does all the work, and he does give 3 kilos to Linebacker, who now finds himself on the second line of betting for a Champagne Stake. So he has been beaten here by a very good one.
300 metres and Linebacker's almost on level terms. A note on the inside of Linebacker. 3 lengths away to Silmarillion and Broadsiding. It's a note and Linebacker slugging out a great finish here. Linebacker trying hard, trying to get on terms with a node. Nose and nose they go to the wire, and Linebacker a nose and only a nose to a node. Third position Broadsiding.
As you mentioned, not much splitting. 2 pretty smart horses there at the end of that.
Yeah, well, when you assess these horses on wet tracks, sometimes it doesn't come down to class. It comes down to fitness, where you're at in your campaign and your racing style, and he ticks every single box there. So he's another horse at odds that can run well.
Plenty of opinions going to be floating around for this race. It's probably one of the trickier ones of the day to figure out, and I guess that's highlighted by your selections.
Yeah, I'm going pretty wide, aren't I? So I've gone with Prost on top for Adam Hieronymus, Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, who are fantastic conditioners for 2-year-olds. We know that, and the best value bet is Duvana. Zach Purden, Chris Waller, and you'll get a big price about him improving there sharply.
Adam Hieronymus deserves a Group 1 on a 2-year-old for the Waterhouse and Bott team as well, doesn't he?
That's true. Plenty was made of him getting the flick there off Storm Boy, but he'll come back with a bang.
I think so tricky is the race that you're going to get great prices available for all of them come Saturday, which means the World Pool Exotics are going to be pretty large for the Group 1 Inglis size. It'll all be live here on Sky Racing.